Somehow, Anurag, standby and live, the gap is very short. In Shivam's case, standby,
click,
live is
click.
like
and then click.
Long wait. It's like
No, I'll correct you. It's standby, going live, well live. That's Shivam's order.
No, but the gap, what I'm talking about is massive.
Yeah.
Massive. Here it's like standby, we are live. There is standby, then you can do 50 push-ups, and then it is live. Anyway, we are live. What was touted as going to be a very exciting encounter between two evenly matched sides, between two teams that are pretty much same in the points table. It's turned about completely contrary to that. It's been a one-sided, I wouldn't call it boring yes, in terms of no competitiveness, but surely it was an exciting game if you are a lover of some good batting. What a knock there by Yashasvi Jaiswal, also by Sanju Samson. I mean, it could have been cut short at 16, where he had played one of his typical strokes of wanting to get out, but it was the largest shown by Sunil Narine, where he drops him. And so you saw some good batting from the other end as well. So winning it in 13.1 over, Rajasthan, after losing 5 of the last 6 games, they've got a win under their belt. Remember, they still have 2 games to go, so it's going to be not very easy. By the way, technically, Kolkata Knight Riders are still not out.
Yeah.
But the one man who I would have loved to have had during our live show today, his name is Saransh, who's not around, who had said 80% chance.
I blame him, really. You know why I blame him? Today was the one day he didn't wear that RR t-shirt. Every other match he's been wearing it, they have played horribly. Today he didn't wear it because he's like, I don't want to support, my main team is Kolkata. I was like, you should have worn it. And
jinx them.
Yeah, reverse jinx them.
You needed to pick up the phone and spoken to your players rather than telling Saransh what just.
I mean, if they listen to me, then they probably wouldn't be in this situation.
Been terrible.
And actually, I'll observe. What's the time now? It's 10:40. I'll observe 2 minutes of silence. It's for KKR's playoff hopes dying.
No, that's a good idea. So he's going to be silent for the next 2 minutes.
Time me.
No. Word from, I don't want a single word, not you finishing everyone else's sentence or saying none of that I want to hear. Gargi, this is your only chance, you'll get a word in, so go for it. What did you make it again?
What phenomenal batting from Yashasvi Jaiswal. He's been out of the ordinary this IPL season. Of course, we expected that from someone like Yashasvi, but at this level where, even the best of international stars haven't had this kind of success in the IPL. Yashasvi Jaiswal is just coming in and doing it effortlessly.
Yeah,
brilliant from him.
What a knock it was. Kind of reminds me, I don't know about you guys, but he reminds me of Saurav Ganguly, with the hand guard
elbow pad,
and then the pads, the lightweight pads that he wears, which Sachin also used to wear, even Saurav used to wear. The same kind of pads, same that elbow guard that he wears, and thin and lean. So in a lot of way reminds me of Saurav Ganguly when he's batting. Just that his range of strokes is slightly different, as in his style of batting looks very different to that of Saurav Ganguly. But credit, before we talk about Yashasvi Jaiswal, also credit to Rajasthan Royals, because remember at the big auction in 2022 they retained him. They had a chance, they could have gone for someone like a Jofra Archer and retained him. They did not. They retained Yashasvi Jaiswal. He didn't get too many games in the last 2 years. I think 3 seasons he's been with them. The first season barely got a game or 2. Next season got a few games, and then the few games. This has been that one season where they've stuck with him because he had a good finish to the last season, as much as I remember. So credit to Rajasthan, because we keep talking about Mumbai Indian scouting talent. I think Rajasthan also likes to focus on their young kids. They are the one team that gives a lot of chances to young players. So them allowing someone like a Yashasvi Jaiswal to get mature, to get better under them, which it clearly has. So just looking at his career so far, 20, 21, 22, 23. So 20 got only 3 games. 21 got 10 games, averaging close to 25, which wasn't bad. And then again 2022 gets another 10 games, averaging around 25, 258 runs. So was 2020 season just 3 games, as I said, wasn't great. The next 2 season middling it, about 250 odd runs, which is not bad. But talk about a season where he's been outstanding. That is the 2023 season. He's still short of the orange cap, if I'm mistaken, which I think still Faf will have, but he's closing in. I think he should be in the second spot when it comes to the orange cap. But one thing that you have to look at his performance is that he is just short by one run.
Oh.
Short by 1 run on the orange cap to Faf du Plessis. But area where he's not short on is the strike rate, almost 10 runs better. So 157 is the strike rate that Faf du Plessis has. Yashasvi at 167, and boy, talk about an outstanding season. So
this is what you call banging the door down. 575 runs, 52 average, 167, 6 hitting prowess at the top. That is what you want. Continue.
Oh, it's been 3 minutes. Good, see? Hence proved, I can stay silent.
no, but today, after his team's performance,
That's okay. See, I mean, I always, again, I'm trying to be more pragmatic. Maybe it's me aging or I don't know. I'll be hitting 30 this year, the magic number.
That's not it. Yeah.
Thunder 30s?
Huh?
Thundering 30s.
Thundering 30s, yeah. No, but again, if you're looking at it perspective-wise, look, Jaiswal has been excellent. He's coming off a very good domestic season as well.
He's going to be turning 30. I remember him coming on as an intern at a different place.
Yeah.
That is.
That would have been...
And he got a yelling on his first day.
No, it wasn't the first day.
Wasn't the first
No,
day?
no,
When
no,
you
no,
came
no.
on the morning shift.
No, I was on the morning shift every day. No, my first day was memorable for a totally different reason.
You got...
No, there wasn't a earful. It was because I was asked my name.
I know that.
Yeah.
You said there is no one around.
No, I said I guess.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was 9 years back.
That was 9 years ago.
2014, so 8, let's say.
Yeah.
14, 15.
And
Yeah.
he's turning 30. He's going to be 30.
Wow.
And
Nostalgic for you too.
came as a...
No, we never got to work together at that point.
Yeah,
You went out on a tour.
Acha.
Yeah. I met him one day before I was about to join, and then that's it.
Yeah, and then and also I think if he's in morning, I would always come later in the day and then stay back.
I don't recall you being there because I used to leave at around 3:30.
Yeah, I would come after that.
Ah,
That's
there
what I'm
we go.
saying.
Yeah.
There's no way that he and me
Would have coincided.
But I know that he did. I think I met him once when it was the first day or the day before.
Day before the first day.
Something. And then I got to know the story of what he had done on his first day.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, coming back 30 years.
Yeah.
Now go make your point.
So a point was that, look, again, this defeat has pretty much killed it.
Yeah.
But I think this team overachieved even getting to this point because it's not a great team on paper. It's not. If you analyze, man for man, even combinations, they've had to rework their combination in the middle of the season, the ideal combination. So the fact that you got these many wins, I mean, yeah, full testament to the guys who got you there. But I think being in the playoff race, that's why I said 30%, because I was always worried one match like this could come. I just expected it to come against Chennai.
Yeah. By the way, Yashasvi fastest 15 IPL history in 13 balls.
Yes.
KKR Rahul's in 14.
14.
And
Pat Cummins in 14.
Pat Cummins in
against
14.
Mumbai.
So you've had joint fastest was 14-14 and his is now the quickest.
Wow. Fastest 50. Not internationally because that goes to Yuvraj Singh.
Yep.
12 deliveries
Yeah.
in T20s.
Yeah.
And T20Is, if you combine the format as such. The fastest half century, of course, with UV. This being the second
He's
fastest.
equal to Colin Munro. He hit 13 ball 50.
But one thing that I'm certain about, and we'll probably get to hear Yashasvi Jaiswal, a lot of times you don't really plan how it is. I mean, you plan overall how the innings is going to go, but these things are never planned, right? The fastest 50 or whatever. But I have a feeling that today, the way Yashasvi batted, a lot of it was planned. I mean, not that he'll get to the 50 in 13 deliveries, but I have a feeling that this was all planned. In the sense their approach. I think they knew that this is a tricky pitch, all right, but there's no harm attacking from the word go. two things. That one, if in case there has to be any chance of them bottling the chase, the best way is to attack right from the top rather than being big circumspect and careful. That, and secondly, I'm 100% certain that they have the run rate in mind, because as we will explain, and probably we'll do a detailed video on that, I've been saying it, but that's definitely going to come your way tomorrow morning, which is how multiple teams can qualify on 14 points. Also, multiple teams can qualify 16 points. In whichever scenario you'll find yourself, net run rate is definitely going to come into play, and I think Rajasthan know that. Their net run rate was anyway very good in the positive compared to all other teams. In fact, they have the second best net run rate in the competition, only after Gujarat Titans right now, even ahead of Chennai Super Kings. So I think that is something that they knew. So this approach was certainly planned. Like this kind of all-out approach was planned. It just so happened that they got slightly lucky with that when Nitish Rana bowling that first over, and he was like, okay, better. But I wouldn't have been surprised even if it was Sunil Narine or even if it was a fast bowler bowling, they would have attacked from the word go. I just thought that it became easy with Nitish Rana there. So it was a planned attack from Yashasvi Jaiswal, and Joss Butler couldn't last too many days, but it was a planned sort of an approach. It just worked out really well for him. Fastest 50 in IPL, as we said, but then of course not the fastest 100, because for that then he had to continue batting in 6th gear, which wasn't possible at one point. Chris Gale has it in 30.
31, 30 or 31 balls.
30 balls, I think, if I'm not mistaken. That, oh man, he was far
13
off
fours,
that.
17 sixes, 175.
AB also has
AB
one
has
of the fastest centuries.
One off.
In ODI cricket, he has the fastest, 31 balls against the West Indies. But I think T20 is fastest, I think 35 balls.
With the 31 ball 100 was the one where he targeted Holder, was it? Yeah.
Holder, Dwayne Smith, all those guys.
The WWs.
What do you guys make of the biggest talk right now on social media and everywhere that Jaiswal into the Indian team? Let's go one by one. Let's start with Shane or Gaki?
The World
Ladies
Cup.
first, I mean.
The World Cup.
Indian team, not World Cup. Just get him into the Indian team.
I think it's time.
Okay.
I say that because we looked at the stats of the past 3 years, and in the first year he didn't get a lot of matches, but then he's been someone who's been very promising. He's always shown a lot of potential, and this Yashasvi Jaiswal isn't someone who's new to international cricket, obviously. I mean, he's played under 19 as well, and he did very well there also. Domestic also he's doing well. Now he's doing well in the IPL. I don't think he has any more to prove in the domestic or the IPL circuit. I think he's done it. He's done
ready
his
for
job.
the Indian
Yeah.
team.
I think I agree with her, because see, Irani, he had a fantastic, he scored a double ton and a century. Plus in first class cricket, plus Vijay Hazare in the last couple of years, he's been doing really, really well. This season, I mean, if Rajasthan make it to the playoffs, you've got 4 to 5 games potentially more. He could go past 700 runs. That means that fine, you've had a breakthrough season finally after 3 years in the 2020 Under 19 World Cup period. Yes, if you want an aggressive opener at the top with the kind of form that he's in, go for it. Why not?
Yeah, I think you need someone aggressive. They were trying with Ishan Kishan, but his form in T2 in international cricket definitely had tapered off. And of course, he has the advantage of being a left-hander and be a wicket keeper. But the left-hander advantage is kind of gone now. With if you are seeing Yashasvi play the way he's playing, not just in the IPL but across domestics, he's done well everywhere. So it's not just a case of okay, this is someone we're picking solely on IPL form. He's done well everywhere. I think he had a breakthrough year, not just a breakthrough IPL. He had a breakthrough year as far as his form is concerned.
Aspect
Yes.
of the game. Every format, every.
Okay. But the reason I'm asking is because and we've often said it, that don't rush players based on one season, whether it is in IPL or domestic cricket, whatever, because we also do not want the situation where there was a Venkatesh Iyer that was brought in who had an outstanding season, or a Varun Chakravarti. We've had players being looked at after one season, and because they do well, you say that bring them into the Indian team, and then we've also said that we should not really rush players in. So that bit of experience tells me that one, as outstanding a season as he's having, and earlier in the show we did discuss how outstanding he's been throughout this season. Kudos to Rajasthan also for sticking by him. and the way he's been batting, fearless cricket. Today was the best example how he took Nitish on. All of that put together, but I'm also wary of the fact that we see a few innings and we get very excited when we bring players in. Now, having said that, let's take a look at the ODI team. So, I mean, saying that bring him into the ODI setup is not going to happen because your openers are Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill. You're not going to change that, right?
Yeah.
You are at the moment in a stage you could, send all the hate as much as you want KL Rahul's way, but I think in the ODI format he's been asked to bat at number 5 and he's going to be doing that. Ishan Kishan has been your backup sort of an opener. So I do not see a lot of change in the ODI setup. Also remember you're looking at a Ruturaj Gaikwad also in that long term. He's the guy you're looking at in a long term all format player because he's just been named even a backup in Test cricket, right? So I'm just saying if you have these names in mind, suddenly you can't kick one out and bring him in. So ODI and also ODI World Cup, suddenly you won't see that. Now, T20 cricket, because T20 you've seen a bit of a churn happening, few changes being made, especially with no Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul playing the T20. Seems like the way they're going forward is that Hardik Pandya is going to be your captain. Now there is a spot there. You again cannot get rid of Shubman Gill because he has been playing your T20 cricket and for Indian team he's been doing well. Also he's having a very good IPL season. He's I think number 3 on that list that we're talking about. So not really bad IPL season. Ruturaj Gaikwad also started off very well, is not done well. So there is a bit of a competition there between a Ruturaj Gaikwad. There is a Ishan Kishan. There is a Shubman Gill. Okay, so these are those few openers that you're looking at, but I still feel the form that Yashasvi is showing, maybe if you would have asked me personally, I'd put him ahead of Ishan Kishan, and that's not just based on just his form, but overall I think that he's been suspect against certain kind of bowling, certain kind of condition which has been an issue, which you're not seeing with Yashasvi. So Ruturaj hasn't had that good a season as Yashasvi or Shubman, but I think you see potential in him, and he's had outstanding seasons earlier. So there's no way that you're going to go, and he's number 6 in the amount of runs. Has been more consistent over the years than Yashasvi, right? So obviously gets to be in the Indian team before him. He got unlucky with injuries, remember, when he was selected. So I think these 3 can be the ones looked at. The one that name that would have actually got a chance, but he's now let go of all those opportunities, was Prithvi Shaw. There was a lot of clamour for having him, hasn't had a great time now, and so he has fallen off the radar. So I think in T20 setup, you can look at a Yashasvi, you can look at a Shubman, and you can look at a Ruturaj Gaikwad. This can be your trio of opening batsmen who you can take with you in the T20 setup. Whoever starts and whoever be the backup is something that the team can decide. Maybe the left hand, right hand combination can work, in which one between Shubman I think will start. So with Shubman and Yashasvi may not be a bad option, and then Ruturaj be your backup, or whatever way you go ahead. So I think T20 is something you can look at. Just that India won't be playing too many T20 matches now because 50 over World Cup year. But yeah, I think he's shown enough. He's shown that he's hungry. He's shown some good form, as you said, not just IPL, overall. So I was just reading a story about him. He's a big fan of the Titanic. Yeah, and the one song he keeps singing while batting, which inspires him, is "My Heart Will Go On."
That's lovely.
But also, I mean, adding to that point is fast tracking is not a word we can use for Yashasvi Jaiswal because he's been consistent for 2 years now. So I think when we were talking about that, when you said that we shouldn't fast track players into the Indian team based off of one season, I don't think that applies to Yashasvi Jaiswal because he's been doing well for a lot of years now.
1.5 years, you may just say.
Yeah, but I'm saying in 1.5 years also we did it with a Varun Chakravarti or
but were they as good in every single format on every single platform?
Exactly.
May not have been, but there was a time where I don't know, Prithvi was brilliant in every format. In
Prithvi
everything.
was.
But then really, I mean, again, I agree. There is no hard and fast rule. Some people can be fast tracked and do really well. Some don't. Like I'm taking a bowler's example. I think with Umran it didn't quite work out. Again, fast tracking. But sure enough, with certain players it did. Right. I mean, the best example was Sachin Tendulkar. They saw the talent, got him to play. Rest, as they say, is history. Again, I'm not comparing that Yashasvi is that. But you're right. Certain people take it like fish takes to water, and very good at international. Some people just completely find themselves out of place, and then that has a larger impact on their career, because then the blame is that, oh, why did you push them in early? You should have gradually got him in. Now you've dented his confidence, so he may never be able to. It can work both ways, but I think there is because now there are multiple formats, maybe you could try him in one format, and because he's doing well in T20 as we're seeing him, and there seems to be some sort of opening in T20 cricket, bring him there, let's see. If he does well there, then gradually bring him onto other formats.
Because see, the common thing with Prithvi Shaw, Shubman Gill and Yashasvi Jaiswal at this point in time, all three of them, after the Under-19 World Cup success, be it domestic cricket, they were consistent even there. Shaw got a run after he, I think, scored a debut century in the Ranji, scored good runs in the Vijay Hazare and in the Irani. Same happened with Yash Dul, but the problem with Yash Dul is that there is no vacancy. This is where the opening position now in the T20 format. See, India are going to play 3 T20s against the West Indies. That's it. From that point on till October, November, you're only going to play ODIs. After the ODI World Cup, you're going to see plenty of changes in the Indian cricket setup. Opening in the T20, now you'll prepare for the T20 World Cup in 2024. So that is the point when you can try out Yashasvi with the tour of South Africa. First thing is, you had a breakthrough IPL. Okay, fine. How do they do well in international T20Is when they're selected in the series? That should form the criteria. Otherwise, just based on IPL, supposing you don't have a good international T20I series or bilateral series, what's the point? Shubman has at least done it. Prithvi couldn't try it. So, that's the difference.
What do you make of the fact that, we said it's a slow track and, batting won't be easy. What do you make of the fact that Rajasthan just cruise control?
I think the pitch was good for batting. I think now if you look at it in hindsight, again, that 15 to 20 runs that they saved Rajasthan Royals in the field, that probably ensured that Kolkata Knight Riders had a very under par total.
Fielding was good, but I just didn't feel like when the KKR batsmen were batting, didn't feel like this is a pitch that was conducive to stroke play.
Because if you look at Venkatesh Iyer's strokes, the way how he targeted Ashwin, Chahal got it in the death overs if you have to look at most of his wickets.
No, but they were all trying. I remember whether it was Venkatesh, whether it was Nitish Rana, later Andre Russell, they were trying to whack it, but a lot of plain misses, ball not timing. I mean, it seemed like it was a slow track. Then suddenly, there's an innings break, out come the Rajasthan batsman, and it looks like, wow, what a pitch to bat on. So, I don't know. Maybe I feel there were two things. One, I think KKR got a below par total. That was one. Two, I think that first over Nitish Rana, and I'm not blaming him. Hindsight is, we can look at it and say, wow, bad decision. But at that time, maybe it was a good decision. But that over and the way they targeted, from there on, the confidence that you get is something that nobody's going to stop after that. So that confidence they got. So Kolkata, I mean, in that sense, I think Kolkata also got a few 20-30 runs less.
Yes.
And then Rajasthan got off to that first over start the way they did. So I think those are the factors that look very different. Maybe also another factor could be maybe because under the light some sort of dew and some sort of ball getting wet would have allowed the ball to come slightly better on the bat. We've seen certain pitches get better in the evening, so slightly better off the pitch. So those could be the factors. That's why I think it seemed like two innings of complete different halves.
But even Nitish admits that the team were under par in terms of the target, because he said that at the early on, he said this is about a 180 wicket. So if you've got 150, if your captain thinks it's a 180 wicket even with the ball gripping, that means you're 30 run short by default. And then once that first over happened, RR knew that there was no scoreboard pressure. Already with 150, this minimal, unless you lose a couple of wickets. But 26 runs out the first over, then you can actually play because the pressure is right back on the bowling team. Now the onus is on the bowling team. What do? Are you going to attack and risk getting hit? Are you going to go defensive? Push. You couldn't push your field back as it was the power play. Are you going to try and be defensive, bowl defensive lines and not get wickets? You're caught in a catch-22 at that point, and Rajasthan took full advantage.
I mean, the last point though, I have a problem with that. I thought a part-time spinner could perhaps make him complacent.
Yashasvi Jaiswal. he's
Yashasvi
talking
Jaiswal, okay, I can understand that if you are struggling for form, complacency, if you want to target a part-timer.
No, he's
No,
thinking. Go ahead.
about. He meant it in a different way, as in, if there's a part-time spinner on, then he might look to hit more and maybe get out in that
Yeah.
process. That's what he's
Yeah,
saying.
he thinks that he looks at me and say, "Oh, now I'm
ab
gonna
main
get 30 runs, whack him all to the park," and in that effort, your
Get out.
eyes light up. You play a false stroke.
But was it the total that they had? Did it merit it?
See, that's
Maybe not.
again, that's
I think
easy
that's
to say
the
in
point.
hindsight. But if you're defending 150, you need wickets, and you will take a risk. You have to roll the dice.
Because you got 4 spinners. Nitish, I understand the success where he got. He got it in the slow, low Arun Jaitley deck.
But
I can
again,
understand that.
everything we're saying now is with the benefit of hindsight. If he gets Yashasvi,
But he's an honest man. He won't change. He would have said it before that also, because remember we asked
We all
him,
got
what would you have
surprised.
predicted?
I
He
don't
would
know.
have said 149.
Said I don't
he
know.
said 160.
But again,
He's honest.
weren't we all surprised? Nitish Rana.
Again,
I
if it
found
comes
it
off.
interesting.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh,
Yeah, when I
that's
saw it,
very
I'm
good.
like, exactly. That's the thing. Either he's getting hit for 26 or he's getting you a wicket.
Yeah.
It just happened that he got hit for 26.
Extremes.
That's the thing.
And maybe I think Siddharth makes a valid point that was the total big enough for him to gamble this way. I agree. But then the other way of looking at it is also that because the total was so less, he said,
You had
I
to
have
gamble.
go something out of the ordinary.
You have to roll the
Let me
dice.
just see, it could have worked. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you could have gotten your
Anything.
4 best spinners. Maybe you could have tried Narayan, Chakravarti, Anukul.
No, but that's
Suresh.
on the benefit of hindsight.
Hindsight again, yeah.
Because we can sit here right now
Yeah.
and say,
I
never know.
think he was going for unpredictable.
Yeah.
So that he wanted the batter to think, new bowler or that
Part-time bowler.
Yeah,
And-
part-time bowler.
Maybe.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong answer
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Again, could have worked. Today was not the day it worked. In fact, that's the
Yeah.
over. It was done. The game was pretty much done
Yeah.
after that over. With the way he batted, even a silly run out that of Joss Butler wouldn't
Did
have
not
dented
have-
their chances. Even if the Sanju Samson catch was taken, they were far ahead in this game. So-
Because you know why I said this. If you look back at 2012, that Sunny Gupta over, it could have been a complacency, it could have been a risk at that
No,
time.
but that was no.
was stupid.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
that was why? Because you
Bad
dropped
company.
Morne Morkel.
Yeah.
It's not like you have a Morne Morkel in the team and you're like, oh, let's bowl Sunny Gupta. That you can still defend. You dropped Morne Morkel. Dropped.
The difference is that, and I remember I was in Chennai when that
Yeah.
game happened. That, when it was taken and I was doing my show, that was a decision that nobody could get their heads around.
Yeah.
It was a blunder to say the least. A blunder to say the least. But when this happened and when he came on to bowl, Nitish Rana, I was 50-50. I didn't think it was a blunder. I said, maybe this works, maybe it doesn't work. So, I don't know. Not a great comparison, Siddharth. Sunny Gupta and
Sunny Gupta. The Sunny Gupta comparison would work if KKR had dropped Varun Chakravarti and brought in a pacer.
or some unknown
Or some
person.
Ha.
I didn't even
Or
know.
Kulwant Khijloria again.
Something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Kejriwal the final over in Delhi.
Maybe something like that. By the way, imagine on a day that UCCL becomes the highest wicket taker in IPL history, picks up 4 wickets, is heading towards man of the match. Who would have thought he wouldn't have been man of the match?
Yeah. Yashasvi Jaiswal.
Any other day, he would have been. Yashasvi deserved 100, but I don't know. If you really, and it did seem like I'm not a believer in individual records. So for me, his 98 wouldn't have been better or any worse than if it was 100. Firstly, so his knock was outstanding, but it did seem like towards the end that Sanju wanted him to get to 100.
Yeah.
My point is, why is he realizing last ball that he wants him to get to 100? You should have stopped smacking it slightly earlier. Like, either be in a situation where doesn't matter, boss. 100 doesn't matter. We have to win the game. You attack, I attack. We finish it off early for the team. And I like that approach. Win it, get done with, and both batsmen go. But towards the end, it seemed like Sanju was playing one ball to ensure that Jaiswal gets 100. But then that realization came a bit too late.
Yeah.
Like, you could have done it then 5 balls or 1 over before, and then you would have got it.
But again, I think at that point, do you want to be looking at an individual record?
You
Get the
shouldn't
game.
be.
Exactly.
I agree, but because they were, then I'm like, then do it all
Do it quicker.
before, na? Because then you left him with no option but to hit a 6.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, you could have done it when you had like 20 runs left. Then say no, you go.
Correct.
I'll take a single. You bat.
Correct. Or don't do it at all. But happy to note that Yashasvi didn't really think about his 100 because he hit that 4 and he celebrated the win. He
Yes.
just did not care that I didn't reach the 100 or whatever. So that's great attitude. The only thing I didn't understand was why was he pointing to the luminous that
He missed his.
for you.
That was the only day, the only moment today where he missed the target.
Igniting
He
the
mistimed it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
he
bad
was trying
timing.
to do the Rajasthan emblem.
Yeah, no,
And he went for luminous.
I've seen players do this, and you know this is still fine because it's impromptu. I have seen players like during football when football transfers are confirmed, they'll have the photo shoot, and they'll have players who will point at this thing. It's a full-on shoot. You do this, you do this. Photo shoots where the guys are pointing here, and the logo is here. Photo shoots, and I'm like, did no one bother telling you? The badge comes this side. What are you pointing at? Nike.
I think even happened with Yashasvi today. It was the other side or the
No, it was side was right.
Side
He
was
just
right.
pointed. It was low.
It was going to
Is
the low.
here, not here.
Acha, he was going for the RR.
Obviously, what
Obviously.
have Luminous signed him to a personal deal or something?
Something to do with his heart. My heart will go on.
Oh, yeah, that's the song he likes.
I know one fun fact about that song, by the way.
Which is
When James Cameron was originally making that movie, he didn't want any songs in it, none. But one of his
then
music.
he saw Bollywood.
No.
I said, how can a film be made without song?
Then he's like, no, but that guy is next level as a method director.
Yeah, I know.
So no, the thing was that one of his music directors or whatever slyly recorded this song with Celine Dion and said that, look, you have to use this song somewhere. If it's a love story which you're making, just look at this. And he heard it and he's like, no, it has to go with it. So he wanted no music, none whatsoever. So about method, this thing apparently.
So basically, James Cameron played a part in tonight's now. Because had he not got that song,
Like if that song wasn't
if
there.
that song had been in the film, Yashasvi Jaiswal wouldn't have heard it, and he then wouldn't be singing it, and he then wouldn't get inspired. So he said that is one of the songs that inspires him.
Wow.
He kind of sings it also
Yeah.
while batting. So,
Titanic was 96, right? Released in 96.
I have no idea. The only thing I know about is that James Cameron, when he was directing, because he wanted to be so precise, he apparently dived down into the sea 10-12 times where the wreck was to look at what the ship looked like. But he was that level of method direction.
They had pictures. Why did he do that?
No, but I mean, in 96, 97, Google was just starting out.
but he could have sourced the picture.
No, but
He was
still,
an
no, he
80s
wanted.
guy.
Again, I'm saying
He didn't have to
crazy.
sit and Google the picture.
No, crazy levels of method directing.
Yeah,
I get your
yeah.
point, but he was doing that, like diving.
Did he also then get the actors to be inside the cold, freezing water to know how it feels and then probably
Quite possible.
Start
Quite
with,
possible.
yeah.
Quite possible. Because. What you were saying?
This incident reminds me of the Soviet American, that space age war. Remember what was the common joke at that time?
No.
There was a big, you may say, the space wars that were going on between the Soviets and
Yeah, they sent the dog and everything.
everything.
Yeah.
But the Americans were finding writing in space to be very, very difficult. They were like wondering, we are spending billions of dollars on finding the ink that can work in space. But the Russians don't seem to be having any problem. They asked in a conference once, how do you write in space? You're going to use pencil. We don't use a pen, we use pencil. That's it.
So that space thing, by the way, is the story behind why the ballpoint pen was invented.
Yes.
Because previously you'd only have ink pens, but ink pens didn't work in space. So they spent millions of dollars of grant money on inventing a ballpoint pen when they could have just used the pencil.
Pencil. That same point was raised in 3 Idiots.
I remember.
3 Idiots. Yes. Same point raised in 3 Idiots.
Okay. Did we take a few? By the way, we had a poll because usually we discussed in our mid-inning show if you want part of it, and we discussed why, because Yuzi has become now the highest wicket taker in IPL history. So is he then the GOAT? And then we said whenever you talk about the GOAT in terms of voting in the IPL, names like Lasith Malinga come into your mind or Bravo comes into your mind. Does Yuzi Chahal also come in the debate for GOAT, greatest of all time? we went around the room and asked a lot of people. Like, I hadn't picked him, honestly. My 3 players that I was going to pick, if there were 3 players we were going to debate, mine were Sunil Narine, Lasith Malinga, and Dwayne Bravo. And primarily because not about the wickets, but from top of my head, match-winning performances that came to my mind, and I picked those. And I said, based on that, these will be my GOAT. Maybe 3 years, 2 years down the line, I'd even have Rashid Khan in that debate, and he might just, let's say, push Bravo out of those 3 guys that I'll be debating. But these are the ones. But I may not be picking Amit Mishra, Yuzi Chahal, or Piyush Chawla in that GOAT debate. So am I being unfair to them, or am I right? So we didn't know. My colleagues here, they picked Yuzi Chahal. Both of them picked Yuzi Chahal alongside Bravo and Malinga.
Correct.
Yeah.
And
I
did
picked
you?
Mishra.
Oh, you
Same.
picked Mishra.
She picked. She and Rahul had picked.
And you
I
also
went
picked.
with Bravo, Yuzi and
Malinga.
I picked Malinga, Mishra, and Chahal.
I picked the same 3, which she and Rahul had picked.
Okay. So that's all. I hadn't also picked. So what we did, we put a poll out so that you guys can vote and give us an idea. Can we cut to it full frame? So we've got about 1,500 votes already, and the poll is still on. You could go to our YouTube. You're on our YouTube channel, but on the post there will be a poll which you can even now go and vote. And probably by the time we wrap up, we'll again take an updated result. For the moment, in the debate, we've put Malinga. That was common in all our discussions, and I don't think there can be any debate about Malinga not being in the debate for GOAT.
Yeah.
So he comes in automatically. We had put him there. Alongside him, we thought we'll pick the 2 based on your votes. Bravo gets the second most after Malinga, the next choice, so highest in terms of this poll that we'd put out at 42%. Also, I'm not surprised, because for me, Malinga, Bravo certainly come in, based on their performances and even helping win IPL titles and so on and so forth. So that's not surprising. Now is the interesting bit of Sunil Narine, which I had picked, is far low in terms of voting. Maybe that has something to do with how he's performed this year.
Yeah.
Maybe people have forgotten the Narine of the 14s and the 12s and the 13s, where he probably helped them win titles as much as Bravo did CSK.
And Malinga.
And
For
Malinga
MI.
did for Mumbai Indians. So anyway, so Sunil Narine is very low on the poll. Yuzi Chahal, I'm happy to note, is pretty high at 26%, and Rashid Khan's already rivaling him at 21%, even though in terms of total wickets he's far behind, also because he's played much
Far lesser,
fewer games. I'm sure in 2 years time he'd be there, 2-3
Right.
years time he'd be there, and I'm sure then he'll be the other name alongside Malinga that we won't even debate. But anyway, for now, it seems like, based on our poll, that alongside Malinga, it seems to be Dwayne Bravo and Yuzi Chahal, much like what both Shane and Gargi had also picked in our mid innings. But we'd love for you to vote if you go to our polling thing, and towards the end we'll come. So Amit Mishra would be in others, so he's far behind, and so we didn't put him. So right now there is no debate. Can we take a few questions then? By the way, just another reminder that at 14 points, multiple teams can qualify, or there will be multiple teams that can finish on 14 points. So be rest assured that if you're a KKR fan, you're not 100% out. Mathematically, still have a chance. Similarly, if you are a RR fan and you go on to win the remaining 2 games from here also, you reach 16, still you may not be guaranteed a spot. All that calculation, as I said, that video is going to come your way with all scenarios that I'll do. It will be definitely premiering tomorrow morning. So you'd get an idea of how 14 can also be enough and 16 may not be enough too. Roy SP says, in case Mumbai lose to GT, LSG and win 14, etc. He's done his own calculation of what a lot of team on 14. Roy SP, you're right. So I'm not reading all of it, but yes, there are a lot of teams that can be on 14. This is something that I said at the pre-show today after having done a lot of calculation. We'll do all of that in detail and not in the pressy form that you have, but I'm sure you've got your calculation right. Vikram Veda from Canada says, the film is premiering tonight. Must be.
Which one?
Vikram Veda.
Okay.
That he's I think
think
used
they-
the film's
yeah.
name, and that film's probably premiering on OTT today.
Yeah.
That's what he's trying to tell us.
Okay.
But he just wants to know who are your top 4 as of now. His is CSK, Mumbai, Gujarat, and Punjab. You guys wanna go? By the way, we had all done pre-IPL picks. What we're gonna do is, no matter what we get right or wrong, we are going to do a comparison of what we picked at the start and where the teams finish now.
Yeah.
So for all of us, instead of wasting too much time, should I put GT and CSK there?
Yeah.
Yes,
Anybody not going with them?
they are.
Yeah, I don't think we're in a position to say.
No, even if they slump, they're still like
Yeah,
third,
so
fourth.
so GT, CSK I
Yeah.
put for
Yeah.
everyone,
Yeah.
right? Now go for the remaining 2 teams,
RR and RCB.
RR and RCB. Okay,
Same.
RR and RCB. I'll go with RR and LSG.
RR and MI.
Oh, how could we forget MI?
MI is also there, yeah.
And I actually bank on MI a lot more
MI
than
actually can even lose a game and still make
Yes.
it comfortably.
Correct.
Yes.
So yeah, they are. I mean, after that, but you're free to pick whichever team, you want, right?
Yeah.
So we've gone with our pick. In fact, MI after GT CSK, the most obvious choice is MI at
Yeah.
the moment,
Yeah.
right? But why I picked the 4 that I did, because those are the ones that I had done pre-season. I'd also pick SRH. I'd pick 5, and I thought that 4 will qualify out of those 5. So I doubt SRH now will do that miracle. So I'm going with the remaining 4 out of the 5 that I picked, and which also now is not a great chance, because MI looks like they're in a fine
Very good position.
Yeah,
Proper
Although they
comeback.
play GT tomorrow.
yeah. So that
It will
probably
be a good battle.
yeah tell us a lot of things.
Yep.
Deepak Payal says Sandeep Sharma also.
One of the best.
Yeah, one of the best. Yeah. Just stop anywhere. Shania Kaur, right? Is that the correct name? that I-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just increase the font also a bit, because with my eyesight, I'm not. Says that Shania, I'm guessing it's a girl, is challenging me that one team will qualify with less than 16 points and prove you wrong, as you said no team will qualify. Okay, I wait for that to happen, but if you want me to wait before I speak, you should also wait before you speak, because neither of us are speaking once the event is done, right? So we're preempting it. But technically, mathematically, yes, it is possible that one team can qualify. But Shania, I mean, if you'd advise me caution, then I'd advise the same to you, because it is still possible that no teams who get to 16 also don't qualify.
Correct.
Even that is possible. So anything can happen mathematically. But if a team qualifies with less than 16, as you say, because you're guaranteed, then I'll send you some money in your fantasy league wallet to play. What else can I say? Okay. Rupak Nicholas says 575 runs, 52 average, 167 strike rate. If Jaiswal doesn't get into the Indian T20 11, then it would be a crime. Today he smashed 3 quality spinners. Also impressed by Sanju today. Absolutely right. And we've spoken a lot about that.
Yeah.
So you could, if you've joined our show now, just go back and check out all our discussion about that. Shri says, I'm a Mumbai Indian fan, but toss and batting second is vital for our win and qualification.
Exactly. I mean, the template for Mumbai seems to be bat second, and especially at the Wankhede. You know that if I bat second, I know what total to chase. What's the blueprint I have to use?
But I will say that if they get to bat second against GT, then they're in with a great chance of winning, because GT hate batting first.
Yep.
That's the thing. It's a battle between the team who loves batting second versus other 2 teams who love batting second, and both of whom hate to bat first.
But remember, GT's one win against Mumbai came when Mumbai were chasing.
Yeah, but then that was the
That is
Mumbai. That was a Mumbai. I was also a Mumbai that were not in this red hot form. Remember, they seemed down and out, but out of nowhere turned their season around. So you don't really know.
Yeah.
Shirish also appears to be a Manchester City fan.
Oh yeah.
That's another way I know where I'm getting old. Never saw any of them when I was growing up.
No, yeah, maybe not too much.
Yeah, not.
Yeah. Though I remember going it's early 2000, and I was in Manchester, and I thought that, I mean, majority of Manchester are all United fans. That wasn't the case because I met a lot of City fans at the time, and then I saw a game, and then I realized that even though City fans were less in comparison to United fans, but they could bring a house down. I mean,
Oh yeah.
the noisy neighbor, as they
Yeah,
call it.
Fergie. Yeah, if he dubbed them that,
Yeah,
then you know
they
full
were.
well that they were that. No, I'm just saying, like, because when I was growing up, you would have, if you're talking England, Liverpool, United, Arsenal. Chelsea fans were a later breed,
Yeah.
and then of course later on
But
you had the.
I was never an EPL fan, but I was a Chelsea fan much before the Roman Abramovich era.
Yeah.
I liked Chelsea because in those days they had Zola, who I used to really like.
He was a phenomenon.
And then you had Damien Duff.
But Duff came after the Roman era. He was like one of the early signings of the
Was
Abramovich
he?
era. Yes.
Okay.
Duff and Robin, both.
Robin, no, I'm talking even before that, where they had Duff.
They had, I think Gullit used to be the caretaker manager at that
Did
point.
Overmars also play? No.
Overmars, yes. Mark Overmars,
yeah.
Zola, Jimmy
Zola,
Floyd, Hasselbank.
Hasselbank, that Chelsea team.
Yeah, they were like cult favorites because they had some very good players,
Yeah.
and they were unfortunately at that point seen as like a retirement home because you had players like Gaspoe, Roberto Di Matteo, all guys who were kind of just about past their prime, coming to the club because they were a London
the
side.
French player with the
Emmanuel Petit.
Petit also played, right? Yeah, I remember that. So I used to like that team, that Chelsea team, but those days there were no Chelsea fans in India.
No, of course not. I think I started watching 2002 maybe, and I took to the club only because I liked the color blue. That was my legit
but
reason.
You're talking about late 90s team.
Yeah, that would be the late 90s team. That was at the time when they wouldn't compete for the Premier League.
Correct.
They'd be a top 3-4 and they'd win a cup here or there.
Like the players in the way they.
They had a lot of Dutch players, no?
Yeah, but so yeah.
Overmars, the player manager was Gullit.
Yeah, that's why I like it because I love the Dutch team and I love the way they play their football. So, Stanislas's Plastic Club.
I mean, that's very harsh. I mean, you're no one to judge what the club represents. So, judging fans. I mean, we are sitting here with a PSG fan. I don't judge him. He's a PSG fan. PSG.
Yeah, actually unheard of. Other than outside of Paris. I mean, in Paris, yes, but outside that, very.
Yeah, but Paris don't have that many clubs in all fairness.
He's a PSG fan because of the players, not the club.
Yeah, but that's how it starts. You end up liking a club because of some player you're attached to.
No, it's also about generations.
Yeah, Messi or Mbappe. Who's yours? Oh, there we go.
A lot of Ronaldo, Messi fans, they should their club prefer.
Allegiances, yeah. Which is weird because again in football you support a club, not a player.
Yeah.
I mean, my favorite player I don't like anymore in terms of what he's doing is Frank Lampard because he did a bad job as manager, somehow back as caretaker. But I love the memories he gave me as a player. That didn't mean I started supporting Man City when he joined them.
Okay, Sagar Madhukar saying, what was Nitish Rana thinking when he chose himself to bowl the very first over and then giggling after giving 4 overthrows in the very next over? It really pissed him off.
I mean,
Really pissed you off?
no, because again, as I said, benefit of hindsight. What are you going to do?
Yeah, we discussed a lot about the first over. That I don't think was an issue. But the other bit, his giggling.
Again, I feel like at times we place far too much emphasis on body language.
Yeah.
It happens with Kohli also. Like, oh, he got out. How can he be laughing? I'm like, he might be laughing at his own misfortune. Why are you that hyper focused on his reaction? And honestly, it happens for everything. So it's like if you hit the floor, oh, why is he hitting the floor? He should be respectful. Oh, why is he laughing? He should be respectful. What do you want him to do? Is there a written code of conduct that when you get out, you have to have a glum face and walk off the field as if you're looking for your keys?
The most consistent guy, same expression, whenever he got out.
Morgan?
Navjot Singh Sidhu,
Oh.
down. Forever down. You don't know what
but
would
then
be
he
his
got
reaction.
100 also where he was the same.
Very, like, he didn't live up to his name of Sherry, but still.
No, that's because he was a different person when he was playing. He
Yeah.
never spoke.
But when it comes to stoicism, I think Ian Morgan is right up there.
Yeah.
Morgan is one. Yeah, he would celebrate
Always have the
hundreds.
Same face.
No. The other one, another KKR player, Sunil Narayan.
Actually.
That man, when he was at his prime, taking 3-4 wickets per game, you know what his celebration used to be?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, you're the best bowler in the country, in this league. Celebrate more. I still remember that RCB match where he absolutely hammered, who was that guy? Samuel Badri. Finished the poor guy's career and he's celebrating the 50 like this.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you're hitting this guy for so many sixes.
Kane Williamson.
Another one.
Williamson still sometime celebrates his.
Yeah,
you
just
know,
this.
Yeah. But he's right. Naren, his face expressions just don't.
It's so bad that I remember recently KKR actually posted a picture of him half smiling because he's like this. And they're like rare sights. So even they know.
I mean, what made me a fan of Kane Williamson was nothing. That Auckland game or 2015 World Cup, high pressure Australia, they were 9 down, they needed a 6 to win. Nonchalantly, Kane Williamson hits Pat Cummins around for a 6. Eden Park is erupted with joy. Kane Williamson's reaction? That's it.
But Narayan, I think the one time I remember seeing him smile, one time, was when he was being interviewed by Sunil Gavaskar. And Gavaskar says, that's a nice first name. So he burst into a smile. The one time I saw him genuinely smile, and he's like, my dad named me that after you.
Yeah.
That was the one time I've seen him smile. Otherwise, again, I remember he'd be getting hit. Same extent. And you know what was even better? He used to wear shades. You can't even read the man's eyes because he's wearing shades.
He smiled even before that in the CPL game. That super over. Super over maiden. He smiled in that.
But even there, again, I remember he'd get wickets. He'll get hit for a 4-6, gets a wicket. He's going. That's it. I don't know. I think he'd be the most laid back man to come out of a area that has produced laid back men for fun.
Guyana.
No,
he's from Trinidad and Tobago.
But Trinidad also gets, other cricketers who've been quite expressive, like
Kyron Pollard,
Sarwan, Brian Lara.
Very passionate.
Sarwan wasn't he Guyana? Ramnaresh.
No, he was also
Chandrapal.
The Bravo brothers. Port Trinidad.
Dwayne and Darren. Dwayne.
Champion.
So there were many colourful characters.
And that's true for the West Indies in general. Look at someone like Chris Gayle. Next level character.
Jamaicans are next level.
Yeah.
Different.
Love them.
Yeah,
Marlon Samuel.
if you travel around the Caribbean, you'll realize that yes, they play as a team together, but their characters are distinctly different. To people from Barbados are very different to the ones in Jamaica, and the ones in Trinidad very different. So you can make out when you see those. But I've never met in my life uncool Jamaican. All Jamaicans are
exactly.
Each one thinks that he's the biggest superstar there is on the planet. He could be doing anything. He could be like a car cleaner. But he'll walk around as if he's like the king of the world.
They're a country of universe bosses.
Yeah. All of them.
All of them.
They're all
confidence.
Yeah, they're like cool cats. They're like, I'm king. Whatever I do, I sweep, the beach.
But I do that best.
But I do it the best, and I'm the coolest cat in town. Everyone is like the coolest.
That way I remember, even for that matter, you're talking about Jamaicans and all, go back in time, Bob Marley. Probably one of the coolest men to have ever lived.
Of course.
And
he is almost like a saint in Jamaica.
Yeah. He's so popular that people wear his t-shirts and don't know who he is.
Really?
Or
India,
no, not just in India. In India, there are others also. Like people will wear the Che Guevara t-shirts. And one time I remember asking someone, do you know who that is? Yeah, who?
What he stood for.
No, what he stood for, chodo. Pehle answer the first question.
And some of them will be like,
no, you know what they said?
Saying that.
They said Bob Marley. I'm like, you're confusing a Cuban revolutionary with with the man who basically revolutionized reggae music.
Yeah. No, but he was much more than that. So I've been to his house, which is now a museum. And, also heard a lot of stories about him. So certain things that he did
and he
went
stood
beyond
for
music, which is why he's regarded that.
In fact, I remember there's this one video. I'm sure if you go to YouTube, you'll still be able to find it. It's someone asked
about life.
Rich.
Yeah.
And
he's basically talking about life. And
exactly. And he said that, are you rich? And he said, no, what do you mean by rich? Do you have lots of money? No, I don't have lots of money. I have the love of the people. That's what makes me rich.
But having a lot of money makes you rich. He asked.
I loved that part. I loved that line.
But he lived his life for that. He wrote songs. He sang. He played football. He had to play football every evening. He had a group of friends he would play with.
Did some other things which we can't mention on camera.
Yep. All things herbal. No chemicals. Manchester Rising says, can you please discuss pros and cons of current top 4? We will do another discussion for that. Can't do it today. It will be a lengthy discussion. There are a few more questions I can see. Roy SP saying interview was in 2014 UAE, KKR versus K11 first half. Oh, about where he smiled.
Yes. Correct.
Yes, Roy SP. Thank you so much for letting us know.
Said he also smiled when he won the IPL. Of course, then you'd have to crack half a smile, right? I mean, you come in first year, you win your team the title, sure.
Take the question by Mr. Shekhar.
He says, good evening all, good evening to you, I guess, Mr. Shekhar. Got a feel for KL. One rare achievement concerning his strike rate, overtaken by young Jaiswal with a 13 ball 50. Shane, get some dairy milk and chill. Thanks, man.
Come out. There was a question there by, I think we missed it, somebody complimenting, I think it was Viva Goa or someone who said that
This shirt?
yeah, the polo t-shirts, he loves the color. Where do you buy it from? Since only Siddharth is
there you
wearing
go.
a polo,
It has to be addressed to him.
Yeah.
so where do you buy them from? Yeah, give me.
Online.
Who gave you the advice to buy all bright colored polo t-shirts?
He's told me this story about 4 times now.
Well, I told him,
Yeah.
yeah. So he's looking smart.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want him to look smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any more questions or can... oof.
Hardeep Singh.
What Hardeep?
If SRH release Mayank, PBKS should buy him and make him captain. Once bitten, twice shy. Thrice
No.
burning the bridges.
No.
He was doing far better captaincy than Dhawan. Really? Okay. And if it was not Odin's with Fowler in GT match, he would have taken PBKs in playoffs.
No.
Really?
I think we've just met a person more optimistic than Saran Singh KKR had an 80% chance. You mean to tell me that without Odin Smith having that one howler, Punjab would have been in the playoffs? Nah, not a chance.
I mean, they were in contention, but then as usual, they
Just stop somewhere. Huh.
as usual shot
As usual.
themselves in the foot.
As usual.
Okay, Ikpreet Singh says, hello Markwa, hello to
Hello.
you. Ikpreet, Gargi doesn't know, she's looking like that. Do you know the Markwa
I'm
story?
trying to-
I did mention to her, she's forgotten.
I might have.
Yeah.
Okay, Markwa is also another name for Sports Today.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Because-
it's given by
Yeah.
our
Steve Waugh,
subscribers.
Marco.
Acha,
Just
okay.
generally.
Got it.
Yeah. So he says, hello Markwa. After a long time we've heard this name, so it's lovely to have you. He says, just feel sad for UZ. All teams play leg spinner. However, we only see orange cap holder playing for India and purple cap holder don't consider for India. Don't know why.
Well, I mean, 2 World Cups will agree with you, Ikpreet. 2 World Cups. 2.
Yep. 21 and 22.
2.
The greatest mystery ever.
2.
Yes. Can we take the question? Sagar Madhukar is saying, no, not that way. Virat was smiling because he'd gotten out in the most bizarre manner during that rough phase. But Nitish was just giggling.
Again, we're going too far into analyzing anyone's body language. Let it be.
Yeah, I mean, Virat had both ends of the spectrum. When he got out to that PBK's game, what do I have to do? God, he did that as well.
There was a comment we missed. I think Ronak was also addressing that 16 team where I had said 16 teams would be bare minimum to qualify.
Yeah, this one.
16,
Yeah,
yeah.
so Ronak, you'd still have to wait and see. I still say that, logically in a 10-team tournament, 16 would be cut off. In a 8-team, 14 would be. That's not to say mathematically it cannot be done. Mathematically, maybe in an 8-team, 12 points also may have done it sometime. I don't know whether it was done at any point or not, but it could have been. But I'm saying, but that mathematical chance of happening won't happen. I'll do a detailed video as I promised, as to let you know what all needs to really go for a team to qualify on 14. We'll do that.
Yeah.
A lot of combination that will come your way tomorrow morning for sure.
Yeah, because see, with 14 you can qualify, but you need 10,000 things going your way.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
A lot of things which I said I'll explain. Okay, should we take the last one? Can
Yes.
you name the most underrated and overrated player for this season?
Difficult.
Ooh.
Quite a difficult.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one, actually.
Maybe this is something we'll chew on for the night and then come
Yeah.
tomorrow and try and answer that, Piyush. Because if anything we say wouldn't be fair in the sense we may miss out on the correct name.
Yeah.
I'll give you one for overrated. Deepak Hooda had a
Yeah.
bad
But-
2023.
This season?
Yeah.
No, he did. But he's had a bad season. But I'm saying overrated would be like someone you expected the world out of.
No, I did.
Okay.
Considering, I'm not saying the world, but I expect him to be performing at similar levels he was last year, and he's not even come close to that.
That way, then a lot of guys.
Joss Butler this year.
Joss Butler.
Joss,
would be
yes.
Because
Yeah.
I agree. Joss Butler
Because he
because
dragged them.
you expect him to. So that'd be like overrated. Somebody. Ben Stokes also. I know he's been injured, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Even when he was playing, he wasn't exactly
Yeah.
lighting the world on fire.
Sam Curran is a good one. Yeah.
The most expensive player in the world.
Yeah, I
And has
agree.
been woeful with the ball.
Ironically.
Good. These are some good names. And
Underrated.
Yashasvi probably.
I-
Because you never expected him to like be. I didn't expect him to be in an orange cap race.
No, true, but I remember last year towards the second half.
He did well.
Very
But-
well.
But I'm saying underrated would be he was doing fantastically more than you had expected him.
Tushar Deshpande.
Yeah, but he's leaking runs. But
Yeah, but
I
getting
agree,
wickets.
But yeah, he is.
Tilak Verma.
No, I expected from
Tilak Verma I
Tilak.
expected. Yeah,
Okay.
even I did.
Nehal Vadera.
Mohit Sharma is a good one. Who thought?
Piyush Chawla.
Piyush Chawla also.
Yeah.
Sandeep Sharma. Underrated
extent.
is definitely Sandeep Sharma and all the names that you have mentioned. Because who would have thought
But
Sandeep Sharma?
Piyush will be ahead of Sandeep,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and so will
Mohit Sharma.
Mohit Sharma. Yeah.
From net bowler to first choice.
Okay, going back to a poll, now we've got more than 2,000 votes.
Wow.
So we asked who alongside Malinga should be put in the GOAT debate. Of course, Bravo leads, and we have spot for 3. And I think at the moment, very close between Rashid and Yuzi, but we'll go with Yuzi at 27%. So we're happy to report that yes, in the top 3 debate, Yuzi will be there. I wonder whether that is because of the timing, as in a recent event we've just witnessed,
Yeah.
or do people still have that kind of thinking? Maybe end of the season we could again revisit this and then see, who you pick. But one name that surely is going to be there and is catching up so fast is that of Rashid Khan.
Yes.
Yeah. Because it's scary just how good he is, and
Yeah.
he has one advantage over Yuzi in that he's actually won a title. Unfortunately for Yuzi, he suffers from what I'd like to call Harry Kane syndrome.
Ah,
Top performer, never won trophies in a team sport.
yeah.
I mean, Harry Kane is the second highest Premier League goal scorer in the history. 200 plus goals. Never won a trophy. It's a shame. Yuzi is the same. I think he was such a
Well,
good.
Harry Kane's, he's the one club man, right?
Oh, he's leaving soon.
Yeah, but till now. he's
Till now,
been. Whereas in Yuzi's case, he's been with other teams, could have won.
Could have won with
Was in
RCB for
Mumbai,
sure.
RCB, now Rajasthan. So
Yeah.
Although, if you want to look at it, he won the Champions League with Mumbai Indians.
Yeah.
Huh.
UCJ.
But again, the Champions League is a defunct trophy now. So.
Yeah, but still.
Winning IPL.
No, but then by that logic, though, when people say, oh, this team hasn't won, like for instance, I remember people were saying this year Newcastle United had an outside chance, and they were like, they haven't won a league title since '55, and I'm like, they did get relegated, and they did win a second division. So if you want, technically, you can count that, sure.
Yeah.
But would you really? You wouldn't.
It was the premier T20 World League, if you may have to look at it. But yeah,
It was. They tried to make it that, failed
but it
miserably.
unfortunately became dominated by Indian clubs only.
Exactly. I think one point you had 5 Indian teams. who could-
Four was the max.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
That's why the top 4 qualifying game.
It didn't work out because also they didn't have home and away. Now you're playing it in one
Yeah.
country. If it's not an Indian team playing, hardly any folks came to watch. It's like
Exactly.
a team from Trinidad and England or whatever. So just wasn't supposed to be.
And it was only held in South Africa or India. Australia never hosted.
And that time, by the way, the Australian teams didn't really do a lot because this is pre-proper Big Bash. You would have like Victoria Bush Rangers and all turning up. We're not talking about like Sydney Sixers or Melbourne Renegades.
Although Sydney Sixers did win it.
They did.
First, yes, they won it 22.
No, that Sydney Sixers really.
course.
Oh wow.
They defeated the Highveld Lions.
The first one was won by Trinidad, isn't it?
No, New South Wales Blues.
New South Wales Blues, NSW. That Steve Smith was the.
Yeah. New South Wales Blues, Chennai Super Kings, Mumbai Indians, Sydney Sixers, Mumbai Indians, Chennai Super Kings.
Don't mess with Siddharth. Okay. Thank you for your company tonight. As always, lovely having you guys around. Looking forward to another interesting day of cricket coming your way tomorrow.
Yes.
Mumbai versus GT at the Wankhede Stadium.
Big clash.
Massive.
For which clash we don't say big.
Oh.
Yeah, I think big clash should be a banned phase at this point. We say it for every match. Like tomorrow,
What do you do?
They are. I mean, see, if GT beat Mumbai, you're doing KKR, PBKS, RCB a massive favor. If GT beat MI tomorrow.
Look, for me, season is done with. I'll enjoy the next two games. I'll enjoy the next two games. If they can get a win, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Being frank.
Confession.
Yep.
Bye bye. See you.
See you.
Good night. Vanakkam.